President Buhari has fulfilled the constitutional mandate by handing over power to his vice as he proceeds on a medical trip to London. Now we have joining us now Ahmed Abbas, a lawyer, on phone from Lagos to discuss this. Now, Ahmed, it's good to have you join us now. Having Professor Osinbajo as acting president, in true terms, Nigerians are very concerned how things are, but what is really going to be different?
Thank you. For me, I think what's actually happening is helping to deepen democratic practice in Nigeria. In other words, our democracy is going to be built around institutions and not around persons. You have, like, it's like leading a nation is like piloting. You have pilot 1 and you have pilot 2. Once pilot 1 has a problem, pilot 2, who is also a competent pilot, automatically takes over piloting of the plane for, safe flight, hitch-free flight. And that's exactly what is happening in Nigeria today, and I'm glad. We do not have two presidencies, we have one presidency, consisting of the president and the vice president. And both are supposed to be competent, so that in the case of the absence of one of them, the other can act instead and still drive the ship of state according to the roadmap they have set from the beginning.
Okay, all right. You know that the letter transmitted to the National Assembly will be read today at their plenary. They probably don't see it on Mondays. About the allegations, speculations really that the president should have waited for the National Assembly to see through to the letter before proceeding on his medical vacation. What's your take on that?
The law simply says the president should transmit a letter. And he has done that. There's no provision in our constitution that says the National Assembly must sit to decide whether to agree or not to agree. The law is very clear, very straightforward. I'm indisposed. I will not be available. I've handed over power to my my vice president to act in my stead. The laws are very clear. For those that are saying they should have waited for the National Assembly, it is trying to impute into the law what the law did not intend. And that's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's just going on the mischief right.
All right, Ahmed, let me put you on hold and go to Somna Sambo, our National Assembly correspondent standing by in Abuja. Well, Somna, you are there now. We are looking forward to the Senate or the National Assembly reading the letter of the president handing over power, transmitting power to Vice President. Can you give us updates what is expected this morning?
Well, what is expected is the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives reading both letters that have been sent to them, and it's nothing unusual. This is not like a formal transmission of power. It's a usual thing because we've had it for 3 times, and this is going to be the 4th time where the president willingly complies with Section 145, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, as it's stated. Don't forget, it's because of what happened in 2009, 2010 that the Constitution was amended to make express provision for this part of the Constitution. And what this means is that, like the earlier caller said, the institutions are being rebuilt so that personalities will be reduced. Because if you listen to what former President Barack Obama said when he came to Africa, he said that Africa should they emphasize building of powerful personalities and emphasize on building powerful institutions so that even when those personalities are not around, the institutions will take care of themselves. And this is what the Nigerian government seems to be doing in compliance. And of course, we must really praise the president for complying with these provisions, unlike what we had in the past where the National Assembly had to come in with the doctrine of necessity. So it's a basic thing. The Senate President will read the letter. The Speaker of the House of Reps will read the letter, and it will just be meant for the information of both chambers of the National Assembly as the representatives of the people.
All right, Sumner, I need you to comment on this if you can. There are feelers in some section of the media about the House of Representatives, particularly invoking Section 144 of the 1999 Constitution. You understand that section is talking about asking for the medical practitioners of President Buhari to come and tell the House if the president can still continue in his capacity as a president, since he travels in and out for a medical checkup. What have you heard about that?
National Assembly members are prayerful for the president. They want him to recover, and they feel that it has not gotten to the stage of incapacitation as outlined in Section 144 of the 1999 Constitution. They feel that the president has done the needful, and I interviewed the spokesman of the PDP Senate caucus, Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, last week, where he said that they are not against Mr. President, that they really thank him for complying with the provisions of the Constitution. But what they were trying to say is that when this same scenario played out during the Yar'Adua's Jonathan saga, that the opposition, including the incumbent president who has gone on leave, on sick leave right now, insisted that the National Assembly should invoke Section 144 of the 1999 Constitution, which has to do with the incapacitation of the president, that members of the Federal Executive Council should do all of that. But they said, well, is it that the then opposition did not believe in some of the ideals that it was espousing, that Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for example, doesn't seem to be living, to the expectations of what he espoused when the similar scenario took place. So, but that they all understand the politics, they are praying for Mr. President, but the needful should be done, and once it's done, they will accept it, just like the letter will be presented this morning to the Senate President and the Speaker House of Reps. So I think institutions are working here, and that's the most important thing, like the opposition said.
All right, so Sumner, I like the issue of the institution. Let me go back to you, Ahmed Abbas. This is one of the first times that this transmitting or seamless transmitting of transmission of the letter from the president to the vice president, making him acting in the acting capacity. This is the times this thing is occurring and reoccurring, and we see these seamless transfers one way or the other, even though it has happened 1 or 2 times before. But what my concern is the reaction of Nigerians. One would say maybe they've not really gotten used to the ideals of the workings of this side of democracy, so Nigerians are reacting. What's your take from that regard?
You see, like I said from inception, we must give it to this administration because they seem to understand the working of democratic principles. And the challenge we are having about, the misgivings and all the rest of them is as a result of deficit of trust over the years between the governors and the governed. So there's been this mistrust between those who are governing us and those who are being governed. So anytime the government takes any step, there's always a misinterpretation, because in the time past, every step the government takes seems to be for personal and selfish interest, not in the interest of Nigeria and the institutions. Like I said, institutions are bigger and bigger than any individual. Individuals will come and go, the institutions will remain. So my prayer is that as we exercise patience to see these democratic principles in play, leading to progress and advancement in the absence of one man, we will get to realize that yes, institutions is what we should concentrate building and building the future.
All right, Ahmed Abbas.
Come and go.
Okay, many thanks for your time and thought on TVC Breakfast this morning. But we still have Sumner Sambo. Sumner, that's the very last question for me. And you remember when Professor Osinbajo was acting, he fired some 10 directors from the aviation sector, and only for him to call them back. Does he just have the power to hire, but he can't fire? Sumner, did you get that?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Maybe repeat the
My question
again.
is on the 10 directors that the acting president then fired, but he had to call them back. Why did he eat the humble pie and got them back?
Well, I still did not get the question, but I think what I would want to say at this point in time is that I curiously asked some federal lawmakers if the acting president has the powers to do almost everything that a president is supposed to do, and they were very forthcoming in saying that yes, that the acting president is supposed to exercise all powers of the president. Now, that question was asked to these lawmakers in the light of the fact that the acting president rejected some of the bills that were earlier sent to him by the National Assembly for him to assent to, of which he didn't assent to some of them, and he returned some of them to the National Assembly. So in this light, you see that the federal lawmakers are really encouraging the acting president to be courageous in exercising the full powers of the president while he is acting, because according to them, this is the fine opportunity where the Buhari-Osinbajo presidency will be like the Murtala Obasanjo head of stateship, so to say, when the late military ruler General Murtala Muhammad, Ramat Muhammad died in 1976, and the former head of state General Obasanjo had to take over. So they are saying that this is another fine opportunity where the leadership can show that yes, Nigeria is greater than any other personality, and that the government can continue without any inhibition. And of course, they are saying that they will be supportive of all actions that will be taken by him, insisting that there are no inhibitions to his powers as the acting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I think this is a fine moment for democracy in this country. And as journalists, we are also looking out to see if indeed they will be supportive of the acting president and the Executive Council of the Federation as they try to move this nation forward while President Muhammadu Buhari seeks attention to his health.
All right, Somna Sambo, National Assembly correspondent, thank you for talking to us.
Always
And Ahmed Abbas, thank you very much for enlightening us more on this as well, as we all and Nigerians pray for the return of the president when he's well, and we wish him well in his medicals. Now, this is where we round off for today, and we'll be leaving you with the weather outlook for major cities across the world. I am Mike Okwache.